Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. It's Monday again. One last Monday in 2020. How exciting is that? If you guys have never met me before, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Deborah Lee Smith, as it says, and I'm an actor, a producer, and a mental health advocate, and I'm really excited to be here to chat with you guys today about mental health and specifically about what mental health means in 2021. So go ahead and let me know where you're from. Pop a little dancer emoji or a smiley face emoji in the comments. I always love to connect with you all. Again, if you've never met me before, I do these lives every other Monday at 1 o'clock. And I've got some regular watchers, which I absolutely love. So just come and say hi and let me know where you are joining me from. Hi, Casey, Joplin, Missouri. Very cool. I have no idea where Joplin is. What a fun name. Massachusetts. Hi, Trisha. I am coming to you guys from Los Angeles, and we are getting some much needed rain. I'm very excited. If you have ever been to LA, you know that it rains not very often, and so it's always really awesome when we get that. Hello from Utah. Rhode Island, Mary, Rhode Island. Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Thanks for popping on. So again, if you guys have never met me before, my name is Deborah Lee Smith, and I am an actor, a producer, and a mental health advocate. My organization is More Than You See, which the Mighty has put in the chat box there. And my organization specifically focuses on non-traditional resources. And what that means is basically resources that will help you deal with your mental health that are maybe a little bit different than what you would consider normal or more traditional. And those, basically like looking outside of just traditional resources and looking at podcasts, books, songs, TED Talks, that sort of stuff. And if you go onto my website, more-than-tuc, you'll see on there that I have a whole compilation of different resources, and as well as on our Instagram as well. And basically, I just share these resources with you all because I think that it's very important for you to build your own mental health toolkit. So the idea behind the website is that you go there and you find some things that really resonate with you, and then you have these in your back pocket resources for the future. So hello to some of my regulars, Mariana, Bolivia. So lovely to see you again. We've got someone from Milton and Massillon, Ohio, Nottinghamshire, the UK. Brenna, I think you're a regular as well. Happy late Merry Christmas to you as well. And Jody, hi from Milton, UK. So lovely to see everyone again. So as I said, I pop on here every other Monday, and it's really awesome for me to come on here and to connect with you guys. Jody asked a really important question right off the bat. Is there anything for BPD? So actually, we do have there is another Facebook Live about borderline personality disorder. And the Mighty person who I'm talking with right now, I'm sure that she will find that and put that in the comments for you. So you'll be able to go and watch it. As I said, I'm a mental health advocate. I'm an actor and a producer. I am not a therapist or licensed in any way to talk about mental health. I am just sharing my own personal experiences around mental health. And so for specific disorders, I always suggest that people go to some of the more clinical and someone who actually knows about that disorder. So they will find that and pop that in the comments for you. And let's see, Leslie. Hi, Leslie. So lovely to see you again. Hi from Baltimore. So happy to have you guys here today. So again, as I said, I do these mental health talks every other Monday. Let's see. So right now, my next talk will be on the 11th of January. So again, I do these conversations every other Monday at 1 p.m. And I just come on here, talk about a specific subject matter, and share what More Than You See is about, and connect with you guys, which is pretty much my favorite parts of my Mondays, is being able to come on here and talk to you guys. So I'm really excited about that. There we go. So the Mighty just found it there, right there. If you go to that that link about BPD, they've got a lot of really important conversation on there. So I highly recommend that you go and check that link out. So thank you so much, The Mighty, for providing that resource. And I'm just really excited to be with you guys today. So hi from Fort William in Scotland. Hello to all my new people who I have never, who haven't jumped in here before. It's so wonderful to have you here. How was everybody's holidays? I know that the holidays were certainly different and difficult in some ways. And so I would love to know how everyone is doing, just doing a check-in with everyone. I do have a really cool resource that I want to share with you guys, but I'm going to share it in a few minutes. And first off, I just want to have a check-in and see how you guys are doing. I personally spent the holidays by myself with my dog, who is currently sitting on my lap. He's sleeping. Otherwise, I'd bring him up to show you guys. It was interesting to spend the holidays by myself. I think I actually, in some ways, I quite enjoyed it. Like, it was really, really lovely to be able to just do exactly what I wanted. I ended up going for a hike, and then I went to the beach because I live in LA and we have both of those things available to us. And I watched a Christmas movie that a friend had made that I had been saving, and I made Chinese food. It was wonderful. It was fantastic. So Leslie says, quiet, a bit isolating, but you practice a lot of gratitude and was able to virtually connect with a friend. Spent most of the holidays alone. It was fine. Good for you, Leslie. That's really awesome. Like I said, I think that the same for me. It was actually pretty nice to have some time alone, and it was very reflective, which I think this year in general has been. So it just went along with the theme of the year. Mac says that he spent it with his mom and video called some family members. Good for you. That's really wonderful to be able to do that. I do think that it's so wonderful how much we have been connecting with people that maybe we wouldn't have connected with before because of our ability to connect so easily now through video. I mean, I certainly know that even a few years ago, even though I had FaceTime, I had the capability to talk with people through video. I never actually did that. And so it's really, really wonderful to be able to have that. So Mariana says things didn't go so well, family issues, making things look better for your nephews. Yeah, I mean, holidays can be really difficult and can, really heighten a lot of people's emotions and, forcing people together who maybe not necessarily, get along so well. So I'm really sorry that was your experience, but, good for you for, helping make things look better for your nephews. I think that's so valuable to be able to do that, because it's all about, breaking the cycle of socialization and, really trying to build a new perspective and outlook on the world for the next generation. I'm reading a book right now about just that, about the importance of, working through our own trauma. That way we don't pass it on to children. And so I think that that's really important and valuable to, do that work sometimes. Shirley says, started dealing or trying to deal with your son moving out, craving cigarettes badly. You haven't smoked in 8 years. First of all, bravo for sharing that. And, bravo for, continuing to persevere on not smoking. I've never smoked, but, I completely understand how addictive they can be. And so that's really valuable that you were able to hold out. And, honestly, it's all about giving yourself grace and just taking it one day at a time. I think that it's really wonderful that you're able to actually verbalize that that's something that you are working through. That's really important to be able to pinpoint those issues and go, hey, I'm feeling this way and it's causing me to then feel this way. That's really important to be able to know that and to be able to verbalize that. So bravo for doing that. I hope that you have some other, concrete tips that you use in order to, work through your cravings. I don't know if, if there's something, if you have a check-in buddy or something like that you can use in order to really, make sure that you can stay on track if possible. Let's see, we had another comment on here. Jody says, keeping the smile on for my daughter was hard. Again, I'm sorry to hear that, Jody, but thank you for, being so brave and sharing that. I think that, again, the holidays, it can be really, really difficult. So Brianna shares something very personal. And I think that that it's really important to talk about. So Brianna shares that she had a really tough time in October and November, that you almost committed suicide twice. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you. I'm so glad that you are here and that you are here with us to have this conversation. I think that, you've been getting back into exercise, you've been eating healthy, and you're going to school for psychology next month. Bravo for, instilling some new important, rules and habits back into your life that will help you work through those suicidal feelings. As well, of course, the Mighty has put some resource for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So if you are feeling suicidal, please call them. They're there, and the crisis text hotline is available 24/7. So, please make sure to use that when possible. But again, I think that it's really wonderful that you're able to share that, Brianna. And I think that it's really great to recognize that these, positive habits that we have in our lives can actually help us have a new perspective about things. So that's really great. And congratulations for going to school for psychology next month. That's really cool. Terry says, what I enjoyed the most was that I never had to worry about other people's expectations. It was just me. I'm in a wheelchair due to polio, so I'm one step ahead on social isolation. Physical accessibility is a way of life in a wheelchair, so Christmas isolated was actually very reflective. Thank you so much, Terry, for sharing that with us. I think that that's really wonderful that you were able to have such a reflective and positive holiday experience. I mean, as I said as well, I also had a very isolated but reflective holiday experience, and it was really nice to be able to just do what I wanted, think what I wanted, and just really, it was a lot of like going inward this holiday, which I don't often have. I don't often have that time to like just take a huge break and step away from everything and just give myself the space to think about what's going on. And so I think that I agree. For me too, it was really a very reflective holiday. So that's really wonderful. Lee says Christmas Eve and day later was better. Chats with people helps some. Yeah, definitely. Having sorry, there's two parts there. So Christmas was not great. People upset me and disappointed you. But Christmas Eve was better because you had some chats with people. That's really important, I think. I think that's really valuable that you were able to talk with people and try and, work through some of those, disappointments. But again, as I said, holidays are stressful. I mean, holidays are stressful on a normal, quote unquote, normal year where where we're all flying and everything is operational as much as possible. And it's a more traditional holiday. In that sense, things are already, super stressful and can be, have a lot of heightened emotions and a lot of, just like difficult feelings when it comes to that stuff. And so then to have that and then to also add the pandemic on top of it, I think that everyone was preparing themselves for a difficult holiday, but I don't think that they, we can't ever completely, prepare ourselves for what is going to happen and what is what we are, living through right now. So I think that that's really important to just give ourselves grace and give ourselves as much, love and respect as possible because, hey, we've made it. We've made it through 2020. 2021 is just around the corner. And that's really what I want to talk about right now is looking at 2021, but looking at 2021 not in such a life-changing, dramatic way, because I think, whenever we come to the start of a new year, there's always these ideas around, like new year, new me, New Year's resolutions, how I'm going to change myself next year, all of that sort of stuff. And I think that that is damaging in a traditional year. But it's especially damaging this year because, again, there's so much that we can't control. And really, we just need to give ourselves grace and love and pat ourselves on the back for the fact that we have made it this far. You have made it this far, and that is something to be celebrated. So can everyone please just take a second and be like, it is December 28th or 29th if you're watching this in Australia or New Zealand. And let's just celebrate the fact that we've made it to this point in the year, because unfortunately there's a lot of people who haven't, and there's been a lot of loss this year. And so I think that it's, again, important to just celebrate our lives right now. Leslie says, my daughter has been struggling. Thank you for the words of encouragement. Of course, Leslie, thank you so much for sharing. Again, it's just really so valuable to be here and able to share that with you. Leslie is in England. Wonderful. Thank you, Leslie, for joining us. So I wanted to share this fun worksheet with you guys. So something that I've done over the past couple years is had a word or a theme about the coming year. And for example, this past year for myself, my word was something about, it was more than a word, but basically I have a lot of difficulty, putting myself first. I love helping others. I love giving myself to others, and that can be detrimental to me. And so my year for my word or my theme for 2020 for this year was about putting myself first and really standing in my power. And it's interesting because with the pandemic, that has sort of forced that to be the case. I really had to put myself first. I really had to, focus on what I needed out of my year, because everything else was, sort of stripped away. Like, that was really what I had to focus on. And I would love if you shared, if you had any specific words or themes or anything like that that you had to focus on for this year. And then I would strongly encourage you. So the Mighty has put this PDF in the chat here. And so if you go to this website, it's really, this is the mental health organization for the UK. But if you go to that website, you'll see that this PDF is really cool because it is a roadmap for how to create a theme for yourself for 2021. So basically it's basically a way for you to figure out how you should reframe, how you should focus, and what is going to be the most important, and a way to, just bring some like structure and positivity into 2021. So yeah, Brianna says, oh, I'm going to print this out. I was thinking of creating a vision board and can paste this on it. Absolutely. It's interesting, Brianna, because I've actually been doing a ton of research on vision boards and all sorts of different stuff right now. And actually, I'm going to share this book that I'm reading right now. Brianna, since you are a fan of or you said something about vision boards. So there is this book called Future Boards, #Future Boards. And I'm just going to find it and send it to you guys so you can check it out. So this book, actually, I've read this book because I think that it's really important to not only like think about what you want in okay, I want a raise in my job, or I want another puppy, or I want to go on vacation, or I want to whatever. This book specifically actually requires you to deconstruct some of your beliefs around yourself, and also then create your vision board, which she calls future boards. So they've just put the link in the chat there. That's this book that I've been reading right now, and it's really incredible. And again, what it does basically is it forces you to look at the different blocks that you have in your life, and then work through those blocks, and then use what you've learned in order to, create the future that you want. And so instead of it being that this is your vision, it's like, this is your future. This is what you are working towards. It's more concrete, and it's really about going inward and like working through your stuff in order to now create the life that you want. So I highly recommend that you print out that you check out that book, but then yes, definitely print out that PDF that is a roadmap for how to create a theme for 2021. And I'm just going to pull it up myself so I can look at it with you guys. And Brianna says that you already got 2 kitties. You got 2 kittens on Black Friday, and they've helped you so much. That's really awesome. As I said, I've got a little dog, and that's been very, very helpful. So let's see. I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys so we can look through this together. Okay. Cecilia, do we have any links for affordable BDP therapy? Not specifically. I would recommend that you, as we said, the Mighty has, if you scroll up further in the chat, there's a conversation about BPD, and I would strongly recommend that you go and watch that live. And in there, they have some, resources, or just reach out to the Mighty, because they might have something that would be more specific and helpful. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, so let's look at this PDF here. So my theme for 2021 is, and this part you can sort of leave blank for now. I think that the things that I think are really important or valuable for myself are these different columns here: activities that are good for my mental health, my strengths, and things that I want to improve. And the reason that I think that that's just so valuable and helpful is because I think that it's very important to look at what are the things that when you're feeling really icky, you are able to do, and then what are the things that that you want to use in order to work through your positives and the things that you want to improve on yourself. And so, for example, activities that are good for my mental health, I would say, for me, hiking, being outside in nature, for me personally, is one of the most valuable parts of my own mental health process, or things that I work through. Doing any sort of outside exercise is very, very valuable to me. And when I've been feeling the most depressed, I have used that in order to work through my own issues. I want to say that my strengths, I would say that my strengths actually are, to help people. Like, I absolutely love the fact that I, love helping people so much. I think that, my compassion and giving myself, back to the world, is something that I think is a great strength of mine. But, for example, something that I want to improve, that is something that I wanted to improve last year, and I think is constantly important for me to, consistently work on, is I want to improve on, valuing myself, valuing my time enough that I only give my time and energy to people who deserve it, to spaces and activities that are important. Like, I don't want to waste my time on things that are not going to be valuable to me. So, that's an example of something that is a strength, and then something that I want to improve. And they don't have to correlate. I just happened to have those two correlate. So Terry said, I love this idea, Terry. So he says, kudos to me. Thank you so much, Terry. Thanks for joining us. He said he eliminated using words like should and try from your own self-talk. They're adjectives that are sitting words. So now you tell yourself to either do it or don't. So I think, eliminating anything that may set yourself up for failure. Our self-talk is something that we have. Absolutely. I mean, this is something that I talk about pretty much on every live, and I'm going to mention it again now, is that our mental health is contributed to by 3 different factors. And these are things that I talk about every single time, and it's really important. Number 1 is our environment. So the things around us and how that contributes to us. And that includes, the people that you surround yourself with. It includes what your physical environment is, whether it is sunny or rainy outside, and how that makes you feel. All of your environment, people, place, things, that contributes to your mental health. Also, your brain chemistry. So your actual biology, and that has to do with how you're born, whether or not if your parents were addicted to drugs when they had you, if your mom had an addiction problem, then potentially your brain chemistry changed, and so that very strongly affects you and just the chemistry of your body. And then number 3 is your physiology and how you talk about yourself, how you allow others to talk about you, how when you are thinking things in your brain, how you talk to yourself. So it's very important to remember that those 3 aspects make up your complete mental health. And so, Terry, I thank you for sharing that, because I do think that it's very important to focus on the fact that how you talk about yourself is very important. And with something like making a theme for 2021, or really, focusing on any of that sort of stuff, it's really important to think about how you're talking about yourself and how you relate to yourself. So let's look back at this again. So again, if you just scroll down, it's got some really awesome examples about ways to look after your mental health. So we'll just quickly go through these, but obviously, talk about your feelings, and that could be with a mental health professional like a therapist, or it could just be with a family or a friend that you trust and feel like you can talk to. Take a break in whatever way is good for you. Do something that you're good at, care for others, ask for help, keep active. That's like very top on my list. Keep in touch with others, accept who you are, and eat well. I think these are so important, and just like a really, really wonderful reminder of ways that you can look after yourself. And so I would strongly recommend, as I said, the link to this PDF is in the comments. So I would strongly recommend that you print this out at home and actually, look at the things that you do on a daily basis there's a lot of habits that you probably developed in 2020 that may actually have some very positive aspects to your life. They've probably changed your life for the better in some ways. I know that I certainly have some habits that I did not do prior to this year that are, very valuable. And so, so I think that it's very important, again, to look at, who you are and how you can, how you can use some of the habits that you've built this year in order to build a stronger year for yourself next year. And then when it comes to your theme, I think that it's important to just basically what I think is that your theme should be, something that you want to focus on for yourself, that sort of has an overarching idea. Like the theme in a story is, the through line, the thing that goes throughout the entire story. And so I think that it's very important to basically go through the go through the check boxes of activities that are good for your mental health, your strengths, and the things that you want to improve. And then from that, you can sort of look at what continually shows up in all of those different boxes, and then use that as your theme for 2021. So I think that that's really something that's very valuable, and I'm really excited to do this worksheet and see what I can find about myself from there. And it looks like my dog wants to say hi here. This is Phineas. If you guys have never met him before, this is my my emotional support animal, and he's I got him right when I was at my lowest, and he's been the greatest part of me recovering and feeling better. So he's often with me on these little mental health chats and sometimes says hi. So Brianna says, what I've learned from this year is that I need to have a backup plan if my daily routine is interrupted. That's great. What a wonderful thing to learn. And do you have then, Brianna, do you have something that you want to focus on for 2021? I am the same way. I think that I have a hard time not being in control of things, and a hard time not, having structure to my days. And so that was definitely something that was difficult for me this year, because I feel like everything was just a little bit, just like not completely, I wasn't able to have the same structure in my life and the same schedule of, that grind that I always had. I really had to like let go of that this year. So that's definitely something that I really dreaded it at the beginning of the pandemic, and now I love it. And it's definitely something that I want to bring into this coming year. So I think that that's really valuable, that that's something that you are focusing on. So bravo. Excuse me. Yeah, let me know if anyone else has any themes or things that they've learned from this year that they want to bring into 2021. Again, I think that it's really valuable to remind ourselves that this is the fact that you've made it to this point in the year is a huge thing to be, proud of and commend yourself for. And if that's all you can, if that's really all your focus, then that's enough. Then that's, really wonderful. And so Brianna says one of her goals for 2021, the number one important thing is that you have your first therapy session January 5th. So you hope you can get the help I need. Congratulations for your first therapy session. That's awesome. Therapy is so, so important. I'll see my therapist on the 6th, actually. And it's really, therapy is amazing. What can I say? And so I'm really glad that you've been, that you have made that commitment to yourself. Kathy says, such an encouragement. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so glad. Really, I mean what I say. Like, the fact that we've gotten to this point in the year, freaking congratulations. And we all know that this next year is still going to be hard. Things are still not going to be back to quote unquote normal for quite some time. And it's very important to just remind ourselves of that. Again, give yourself grace, give yourself as much love and self-love as you can, and just remind yourself that, that we're, doing the best that we can. Leslie says, I've been way more committed to meditation and making it a priority. Good for you. That's something that I am working on constantly. And it's something that I know that I need to put more time and effort into, but that's definitely some place where I struggle. And I actually have been listening to the podcast 10% Happier, which is by Dan Harris, who wrote the book 10% Happier. And I think that is that's a really wonderful way to start on a meditation journey is that book, 10% Happier, if anyone is interested. So Max says, I've learned that a consistent routine is vital for your mental health. This pandemic and working from home threw you off and you struggled a lot. Your focus for 2021 is self-care and your overall health. Good for you. Again, I think that's so valuable to be able to know that about yourself, to know where your optimum baseline is as far as how you perform the best, and then to be like, okay, so this year really threw me off that baseline. Now what can I do in order to work myself back to it or improve on it or, whatever. I think that the one valuable thing about this year is that it really forced us to all just reset and go, okay, crap, we've got to sort of strip away everything and everyone is back to ground zero. And now let's figure out from this ground zero, what do I actually want in this next year in order to, build something for ourselves that focuses more on our mental health and really focus on what we need. So Brianna says, you want to start doing more of it. I assume you mean meditation, Brianna. If you don't mind me asking, does it help me a lot with my daily life? Again, I assume that you mean meditation. So I know that for me personally, I I really want to use meditation as a reminder to myself that that I need to put myself first and that other things can wait. That if I need to, take 10 minutes in order to, if I'm feeling stressed about something and I can I think that one of my most valuable things that I've learned in my mental health journey and just like in my last few years is being super in touch with my body, super in touch with my feelings and my emotions on things, and noticing when I'm feeling certain ways and then how to react to it. For example, sometimes my day job, what I do outside of acting and producing, sometimes I have conversations that cause me so much stress and anxiety, and I can feel it completely rising. I will go from feeling no anxiety to a switch flips, and I feel like I'm just the most anxious person in the world, and it just flips in like a second. And I've learned to really tap into my body and be like, whoa, okay, so I can feel my heart racing. I can feel that, my pulse is quickened, that I'm starting to, grip my chair, or that I have a physical reaction that shows that I'm anxious. And that's where meditation is so valuable, because when I have those physical reactions, I'll remind myself to turn on my meditation app and be like, okay, I'm going to take 10 minutes for myself and just meditate and allow myself to just get back to a more healthy, grounded state and try and let some of that anxiety dissipate. Because then I know that if I then approach the problem, not from an anxious state, but from a state of like grounded meditation, that is it just really helps me a lot. So Katie says, do I have tips for calming down at work other than meditation? I mean, I would say, even though this isn't meditation, but something that I think is so valuable is very focused breathing. And this could even be like 3 breaths, 5 breaths, whatever. It literally can just be, like something that I talk about a lot is that your nose, like the little hairs in your nose, are actually basically act as air filters. So it's really important when you're doing deep breathing, specifically in order to like work through things, is to breathe in and out through your nose. So I will just, close my eyes and breathe in and out through my nose 5 times and try and make it slow. So I would, count to 5, breathe in for 5, hold my breath for 5 seconds, and then breathe out of my nose again for 5 seconds. And just do that 3 to 5 times. It takes less than a minute. And I really find that really helps me calm down. Also, this is something that I've just discovered, is Spotify. If you have Spotify or probably any sort of music streaming site, obviously they have music, but they also have really awesome, I've been listening to, like Tibetan sound bowls, which is, just like really beautiful, calming music. I've been listening to that when I work, and I will literally just put in, Tibetan sound healing for focus or, whatever into Spotify, and it actually finds a track that's like that. So I've really found that that's really helpful. I also just have I have a work playlist that I use. Here's my dog again. I have a work playlist that I use in order to, feel focused and just calmer at work. And then that's something that I will turn on whenever I'm starting to feel anxious and I need to, do something. I'm going to go back really quick. So V said, my goal is not to shut myself in. I tend to avoid people and outside. Thank you for sharing that, V. That's really vulnerable and beautiful. And bravo for making that goal for yourself. I think that's so wonderful. I think that it is often easy to just avoid people and just focus on ourselves sometimes. And especially if you have, social anxiety. And so I think that that's really wonderful that you're doing that. I would say, give yourself grace and allow yourself, do it in little chunks. Like, set time limits for yourself, set tiny goals for yourself, and say, like, I'm going to go outside for a 15-minute walk and smile at 3 people. I think that, like, making tiny little goals like that can be really valuable, and just remind yourself that, being outside and amongst other people is really good for yourself and will really help, you work through things. So bravo. Terry says, the all-important deep cleansing breath, breathing in positive and breathing out stress will work wonders in less than a minute. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that honestly, just like focused breathing, any sort of deep breathing helps so immensely. So thank you for sharing that. Jennifer says, enjoying listening to music to calm yourself. Completely agree. Absolutely. And Brianna says another one of her goals for this year is to, if your job asks if anyone wants to work extra hours, that you say no until you're mentally stable enough for it. Yes, getting enough sleep really hurts my mental health. Yes, it does. Getting enough sleep is so important. And I think that one thing to note, and this is with your physical health, this is with your mental health, it's whatever enough sleep is for you personally, because I think that we oftentimes will go, oh man, I have to get 8 hours. If I don't get 8 hours, then I'm not getting enough sleep, and then I'm not gonna feel good, and etc. And then I personally then go down a spiral of like, I'm not doing enough for myself, I'm not sleeping enough, this is not good enough, blah, blah, blah. And that's not true, because I know personally for myself, if I get 6.5 hours of sleep, I am golden. Like that is like my optimum amount of sleep. And so I think, again, it's so important to not compare ourselves to anyone else, and to really figure out what it is for you that makes you happy, that makes you feel like you have had enough sleep. And then once you figure that out, that is what you should stick to as far as like what your goal is for your sleep, for your eating, for your exercise, etc. All of those sorts of things. So Leslie says that she also loves sound bowls. I also look at virtual kaleidoscopes online, which are awesome. You can search for them on YouTube. It's soothing and calming to look at the movement and the colors. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, B, that you say that, because actually the Spotify playlist that I found that's all about Tibetan sound bowls, it actually has a virtual kaleidoscope attached to it, which is really wonderful. So I agree. I've also found that just so incredibly valuable, as something to just center myself and, allow myself to just like deep breathe again. Cecilia says, hiking works when you don't want to be with people and instead connect to nature. Absolutely. Completely agree. I think that, hiking or just getting outside in general is just so incredibly valuable. And Brianna says, hiking is so good. I did that a lot in 2019 and it really improved my happiness. Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is something that I have found, that I've talked about before, is the fact that when I was in my deepest depression, the thing that really helped me was hiking outside with my dog every day and listening to different inspirational, motivational podcasts. And they weren't about mental health. They were just about what drives me and what makes me happy, which is acting and producing and that sort of stuff. And that is that's what really pulled me out of my own darkness, and why I created More Than You See, because I think that, again, like the fact that hiking is so awesome to me, the fact that it's so awesome to Cecilia and Brianna, like that's so incredible that the three of us just absolutely love hiking. But there could be lots of other people who are watching this and being like, oh God, I hate hiking. I don't like being in nature, whatever. And that's why it's so important to have your own toolkit as far as what makes you feel better. And so that's why I have More Than You See, is to encourage you to find your own mental health toolbox. Jonathan says, for 2021, I want to remind myself to not always believe what I think and fears are not facts. That's awesome. I think that is really, really important. And again, it just comes down to self-awareness and to, understanding what is our actual fears on things, and our actual, like our concrete beliefs on ourselves. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's really wonderful. Rod says, evening from the UK. Hi, Rod. Wonderful to see you again. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. Thank you so much, Rod. I mean, you're welcome to come back and rewatch this. It will be live on the Mighty's Facebook page. Terry says, look into chronophysiology. We all have a different sleep needs, and nobody has an exact 24-hour body clock. That's really fascinating, Terry. I'm definitely going to look into that. I agree. I think that, this is what mental health is all about, is really understanding exactly what you need in order to pull yourself out of the darkness. Because again, mental health is so focused and so specific to ourselves. And so it's really, really important to, figure out what works for us. And that's the most that we can, possibly do. So I want to share really quick the Instagram for More Than You See. If you haven't followed us before or followed me before on there, I strongly recommend that you do. Again, I have all sorts of really incredible resources on there. And I highlight different resources every week that encourage you, again, to figure out what it is that you need in order to build your own mental health toolkit, your own toolbox of sorts that will help, pull you out of the darkness. And I want to announce to you guys, and you guys are the first people who are actually hearing about this, and this is why I also think that you guys should follow the Instagram, is that because of the encouragement and the wonderful conversations that I've had with you guys, and I've had with other people in the mental health space, I'm actually going to be starting a mental health podcast in January. And this podcast is basically going to be a little 10-minute episode, like little mental health moments. They're going to be released on Mondays, so mental health Monday moments. And they're just going to be me talking about different things in order to start your week, and just bring some happiness and some looks at different things in the mental health space. And so I will be sharing those on both the Instagram, as well as I'll be sharing on the Instagram when I have the podcast set up and all of that sort of stuff. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, and all of the information about it will be up there as soon as I get everything going. But thank you, Trisha and Leslie, for I am really excited. I think that that I have just loved talking about this stuff with you guys, and I know personally that I really need something to help jumpstart my week, and that's why I love coming and talking to you guys on Mondays. And I think that it's going to be really valuable to just have some concrete tips and ideas, resources. Basically all that mental health, that More Than You See is about. I will be having that on More Than You See's podcast. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you, Jonathan and Jerry and Leslie. I'm really, I have to say, I really am so excited to be doing this. And I think that it's going to be really valuable. So make sure that you follow us on More Than You See's Instagram. If you have any specific topics that you want me to discuss on the podcast, I already have a long list that I'm going to be discussing. I'm going to be going back through some of the conversations that I've already had on More Than You See, on the Mighty, like all of the different learning styles and what that means to mental health, just like how we process things, all of that sort of stuff. I'm going to have a long running list about what I want to talk about on the podcast. But if you have something specific that you want me to address, please just contact me on More Than You See's Instagram, and I will be so happy to connect with you on there. Thank you, Kelly, for saying that. Thank you for joining us. It was really, really wonderful. And Cecilia, thank you. Again, if you guys haven't done this with me before, I do these every other Monday, and the podcast will be every Monday, but I do the Mighty every other Monday. I will be starting, I will have my next conversation with you guys on the 11th of January, 2021 at 1 p.m. So I'm really excited to talk with you guys again then. Terry, thank you again for joining us. I agree. We're never really alone, even when we feel like it, because, we're all, we are in this together. And especially anyone who's in the mental health space, I think it's so important for us to focus on having these conversations, up front and center. Rod says, you didn't have much time to listen to much, but you found, oh my goodness, that's so funny. So Rod found my Women Crush Wednesdays, which obviously he found me on YouTube. I have these old YouTube videos about different women throughout history. And so obviously he found those. Definitely check them out. Let me know what you think, Rod. Thank you, Jonathan, and Jen and Brianna. Thank you, Brianna, for sharing your experiences with me today, sharing your goals. I think that's really valuable. Everyone, again, go and check out that worksheet that I posted about, your theme for 2021. What is going to be the thing that you are going to be focusing on for yourself and for your mental health in 2021? I think it's so important to, focus on some positive words and some themes that will support you and your mental health. And if you want to share your, ideas or thoughts with me on any of those things, please feel free to, find me on Instagram. Go to More Than You See's Instagram. My personal Instagram is linked there as well. And I just love, having conversations with you guys. So thank you again for letting me join you. And I will see you guys again in 2 weeks on January 11th, 1 p.m. Really excited. Thanks so much for having me, you guys.